Hey there. Welcome to lesson two. We got a presentation here that I'm going to run through how to take our big goals and turn those into daily action. So let's go ahead and get started here. So here's a visual explanation of what I'm going to cover during this presentation right here. We're going to start with our crazy awesome big goal, and we're going to break that down into weekly objectives. And after we get our weekly objectives set up, then we're going to go ahead and break those down and turn those into daily objectives. So you know that I couldn't have a lesson without having my learning objectives put in place. So let's run through those real quickly. This is what I want you to learn by the end of this presentation. Students will be able to explain why it is important to break down a goal. So you understand the purpose behind this, why it can make a huge difference, why it is important. Students will be able to convert their big goals into weekly objectives, breaking down that big goal into weekly objectives. Third, students will be able to convert their weekly objectives into daily actions. And fourth, and very important, students will be able to have fun and enjoy the presentation. Okay, so let's go. So first thing to address, why should you break down a goal? Okay. When you break down a goal, it shifts the process from some big idea, and you actually start to believe, oh my goodness, this might actually even be real and possible. So that's one reason. Second reason is that when you break down your goal, you are creating the steps that is going to get you there, which essentially you are creating a map to reach your goal. And third, which is one of my favorites, is that it helps you focus on taking action today, because once you break down a goal to its parts, then you will be aware of exactly what you need to do today to get where you want to get tomorrow. So now I'm going to use an example throughout this presentation, just so that way it's just real clear once we have an example in place. So this is what we'll be using. I want to lose 14 pounds by August 30th. So what is this? Well, as you may have guessed, this is our crazy awesome big goal. All right. Now, here's a question. Where do you start? Maybe you could start exercising, yoga, no more meat. You can run more. Maybe you should eat less. What about cutting out sugar? Hey, I think you should walk. How about join a gym? Maybe you should run a marathon. Ah! This is why I love this process, because it allows you to figure out where to start. So let's go through the process now. Breaking down the crazy big awesome goal. So we're going to go from the crazy awesome big goal, and we're going to turn those into weekly objectives. So this is what I like to do, and really helps me a lot, is I just take my big goal and I turn it into a question. So let's go ahead and do that with our goal of to lose 14 pounds by August 30th, and shift to a question, as you see right there. What must I do to lose 14 pounds by August 30th? I have to warn you about something. None of this is a perfect science. We are dealing with big goals here. And in going through this process, there are things that we can do that get us in the best position, but there's no perfect formula, because this is real life, and real life doesn't have perfect formulas. So I just want to make that clear here. You may see some things that you're not totally sure about, but that's the process. So let's keep going here. What must I do to lose 14 pounds by August 30th? These are some objectives that I have come up with that are weekly objectives, that just to answer the question. Exercise every week. I can eat healthy foods for 85% of my meals. I can eat under 1,800 calories a day. And lose about 2 pounds per week, because it's 7 weeks about from now until August 30th. So this would be about 2 pounds per week. Now, when you look at these, they aren't necessarily super specific, but they do give me a sense of things I can do on a week-to-week basis. Now, one of them that I really like a lot is to lose about 2 pounds per week. And the reason I like this is because the second I see that, I am immediately forced to think about what actions can I take today that will lead me to losing 2 pounds at the end of this week. And those specific actions are actually our daily actions, our daily objectives. So now, a question that I think often comes up is why not go from the big goal to your daily objectives and just altogether skip out on weekly objectives? Now, some people do feel more comfortable doing this. I, on the other hand, do not. I prefer to first put them into weekly objectives, and this is because I like to look at my weekly objectives every single week, once a week, and then turn those into daily objectives. It really allows me to do a lot of reflecting on the process and how the previous week went. The problem with daily objectives, once you break them down from starting with just the huge, awesome big goal, is that sometimes it can feel pretty overwhelming. But if that is a process that you feel comfortable with, then you can go ahead and do that. But for this presentation, I'm focusing on going weekly objectives to daily objectives. So let's go ahead now and focus on turning our weekly objectives into daily objectives. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to give 2 examples. Okay? And the first example that I'm going to use for turning our weekly objectives into daily objectives is to lose 2 pounds per week. Okay? And the second example will be eat healthy meals 85% of the time. So let's go ahead and start with lose 2 pounds per week and how I would go about breaking that down. Okay? So here's something that I think many people immediately jump to is exercise daily. Okay? But there's a problem with exercise daily. It's not enough details. Okay? And so I prefer to kind of take it to the next level and be more detailed with it. And that's why I have these other 2, which is run 30 minutes, 4 days a week, and then eat healthy meals 18 out of 21 times. Now, I really like to be specific, as may be obvious by the eat healthy meals 18 out of 21 times, and that may initially seem a little bit complex or confusing, but it's actually really, really simple. All I do is I actually keep my weekly and daily objectives on a sheet of paper, and I track it every morning. It takes about 10 minutes, and I simply pull out my piece of paper, and I start with 18, and I just sit there and I think, okay, the previous day, how many healthy meals did I have? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all healthy. It goes from 18 to 15. If I missed a meal, wasn't too healthy, then I'd have 16. Okay? But I think it's really important to make everything quantifiable. So let's go ahead and move forward. So eat healthy meals 85% of the time. Now, I chose this specific objective for a reason, because look what happens. 85% of the time is 18 out of 21. What you'll probably notice if you turn things into weekly objectives is that many of them actually overlap. And that's one of the cool things about it is you turn the weekly objectives, and then when you transfer them to daily objectives, it really helps you zone in and focus on things. So that's why I want to just give this quick example here. Now, okay, I want to bring this picture back up because the whole reason for this process is to eliminate all of this. This is to eliminate that feeling of being overwhelmed and overtaken by the massiveness of a huge goal. So, I really hope that this presentation has been helpful in clarifying those things for you. A few final notes is that really when it all comes down to it, it's action, action, and action. You must take action. There is no greater teacher, and there is nothing that allows you to, we can sit around all day, watching presentations, reading books, and planning for the future, but really, you need to take a step out and take some risks, and one more thing, a little more action. So I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. That about covers it.